So honestly, every time I think of attachment, I think of a drug addict or an alcoholic person, because it brings to mind the gravity of attachment. I am a drug addict to sense objects. I cannot find happiness outside of depending on those things. If objects themselves are impermanent, meaning they constantly change, how the heck can they give me permanent happiness? If you yourself are impermanent, how can you give me permanence? That's another false logic there. Number 4, beauty and joy are superimposed by us, and thinking about that deeply, they lose their charm. So just like that Mira example, because that person was my father, I had a certain experience. Because I have a set of vasanas, an object will match my liking, therefore I will have sukha. If that same object matches my dislike, I will experience sorrow. So really, the object makes no difference. It's my vasanas, it's my mind, it's what I give the value of that object to that makes it feel important. Sometimes, I think this was in middle school, I was like, why is gold considered so wealthy? Gold is gold. It's just like any other element on the periodic table, and yet, who decided it had wealth? Why is it that we decided it has wealth? Where did it come from? The whole society has come to agree that gold is wealthy. Why? Again, it is the beauty and joy is superimposed on those sense object. And if we truly think about why we're giving it that value, we realize it has no more charms anymore. That is what applied intellect is all about. Then finally, number 5, what we desired, we realize it's not that. What we wanted in the first place, we realize it's not what we thought it to be, or it didn't give the joy we thought we were expecting from it. So fanciful thoughts makes us go after it in vain. How many times have we chosen a career because we thought it would give money, but once you actually got the job, it didn't give that money? Or if you decided that you have a creative flair, and I took architecture, and then you go into it, it's not a creative job at all. It's a desk work, mechanics of, designing online. So many things we say, if I do this, it should give me this joy. But who are you to decide all that? Bhagwan is the one that designed this entire world. You think you're Ishvara saying, if I get ice cream, I'm going to feel happy. Dude, it's all in your own mind. It has nothing to do with the world outside. So this kind of habit of thinking, objects appear to give happiness, but they only lead to sorrow. It is a fleeting joy, and it will only lead to attachment, bondage, and craving. They themselves are impermanent, so how can they give permanent joy? I am the one that superimposes value on that object, and therefore it has no value. And what I superimpose can be erroneous down the road. There are 5 different strategies to think what are the doshas of pursuing sukha through life. So, it is said here that may we give up this tendency in seeking joy in object which are not truly there. They only seem pleasurable, but it's not actually sukha itself. But again, when we start coming to realize the value of this, I'm going to take one example before I move on to the next point. This conviction, because I said this is not just an intellectual appreciation, it's a conviction. The example I take up is a conversation that occurred in Puja Gurudev's movie On a Quest. Swami Chinmayananji was giving a Jnana Yajna. After they wrapped up, they were exiting. And of course, an entourage of people will follow Swamiji. And one of them happened to ask, you say Viveka leads to Vairagya. How can I develop Vairagya? Okay. He happened to be chewing gum at that point. I know, that seems disrespectful in front of a Swamiji chewing gum. But he took that as an example. He said, okay, how long are you going to chew that gum? Well, as long as the rasa and flavor is in there, I'll chew it. But after a while, you suck out all of the rasa. What does that gum feel like in your mouth? Plastic. What are you going to do? Spit it out. Just like that, when we go through experiences in life, constantly studying, where is this rasa coming from? Does the rasa actually come from this object? Is it inherently in that object? A good analysis of my available intellect, constantly I chew on life. I chew on experiences. Keep pulling the rasa out of it. Is it there? Is it there? Is it there? What will be my conclusion at the end? There is no rasa in this. So is it going to be hard for me to give it up? No. When I truly understand the value of something, I will naturally react to its value. If it does not have value, I will easily give it up. Therefore, bhava sukhe dosho anusandhiyatam means I've developed the ability of viveka. Viveka then naturally leads to vairagya. Vairagya is not forced. It comes from good understanding. So, from this, when I've given up the world of sukha, the mind will still cause me problems. Now I've taken the next level. I've done my study. I've chewed on life. I've spit it out. It has spit me out, whatever the relationship is. I'm done with it. I know what its true value is. It won't give me what I'm looking for. But the mind is still going to be bothering us. The mind has a habit of looking for happiness and joy. That's just the way it's built. It is an outward-seeking instrument. It doesn't know what else to do. So it has to be slowly trained, but that training process is the most painful thing. Because a lot of people, when they take up sadhana, within the first 30 minutes, they get frustrated. I thought meditation was supposed to help me feel calm. I feel more frustrated. Why? Because we're challenging the mind. In fact, I've flipped that around. If you're not feeling frustrations, you're not doing sadhana right. Keep up the frustration. See it through to the end. And the analogy is, it's like pulling the dog's tail. Why? If you see a dog's tail, it naturally curves, right? And if you pull it straight with effort and you let go, what will the tail do? Doing. Go back into a curled position. Mind has a natural tendency to want happiness. That's just the way it's built. Now, I've pulled and ripped apart the sukha of the samsara. What am I to do with this mind? It's going to be my greatest enemy. What do I do with it? That means I still need to feed it sukha, but now I have to give it a different kind of sukha that it can chew on. That is when the next line comes up. Atmecha vyavasiyatam. Atmecha vyavasiyatam. So in the Vedas, we had seen that Brahman is defined as Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. And we've learnt it, but at the time of graduating Brahmacharya Ashrama, I'm only 15 or 16. I haven't really chewed on life yet. Through Grahastha, I have now chewed on life, dealt with my kama vasanas, dealt with my papa and results of bad actions, dealt with it, done my thorough study, and now I come back to the same line, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. Brahman is that ananda, it is that bliss. This is the true nature of its permanency. Now I want to know the self. This is the knowledge that will help me re-educate the mind. I do not want bhava sukha, I want atma. Therefore, atmecha, meaning atma ichha. I want atma. This is now what the mind can chew on. And vyavasiyatam, may I strongly determine that this is what I desire. Atma ichha. I like the word that there's a mahaprana in there. Cha. Ichha. I want it. And I want that Atman. So, this is like Nachiketa in his third and final request. I do not want bhavasukha. I want Atma Jnana. I will accept nothing less from the boon. And after he saw that, Yamarajji spent 5 or 6 verses exalting the stuti of Nachiketa ji. In fact, there's a star named after him. There's a particular flame of light, which represents knowledge, named after Nachiketa, because he represents that true seeker. Look, he has come to chew out life before it chewed him out. He knows what it's about. And look at the strength of desire that this 5-year-old has. He wants nothing less than Atma Jnana itself. So this is when even Bhagavan Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, sorry, let me find my verse. Sadhu reva samantavya samyak vyavasito hi saha. This is a chapter where he says, in this category, I am the best of the best, which is this. In this category, I am the best of the best. This is who I am. And this particular line says, I consider him as noble and good because he is firmly determined to change. He hasn't yet even achieved that change, but he has such a strong determination for that. That is what I revere. That is what I love in my bhakta, that ichha for Atma. This is what the mind can now chew on and help us further develop. Now, when this ichha is there, know that grahastha ashrama has come to a conclusion. Grahastha ashrama has done its job. We have now graduated to vanaprastha. This Atma Ichha is the foundation on which we start, and the rest of the sadhanas will come from here. Verse 1 covered brahmacharya and grahastha ashrama in one verse. So what else is left? We shall see. We will take up the next couple lines, which is, we'll sit further with Atma Ichha Vyavasitam, then Nija Grihat Turnam Vinirgamyatam. As soon as this ichha is so firmly established in our heart, the next step we will do is leave home. What? I have to give up my house? I have to become homeless? No. We shall see the true depths of those statements next time. So with that, we will do our closing prayers. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.